Now that we've looked at creating backups with tar, let's also look at how to create backups with CDs and DVDs. Now, tar was originally designed for use with tapes, hence the name tape archive or tar. But tar can also be used with other media as well. It doesn't just have to be used with tapes. You can back up to CDs or even across the network, which we'll talk about a little bit later. In order to create backups with CDs, though, you've got to have some special tools installed. Now, if you've used a GUI in Linux or Unix, you know that there are some really good GUI tools out there available to you to back up CDs, to burn CDs and DVDs with. Well, we're trying to do everything the command line so you can learn how this is done the old-fashioned way, so we're going to do this at the command line as well. You can burn CDs and DVDs at the command line using a tool called CDR Tools. That package has to be installed on your BSD system first. Now, it may or may not be installed when you install it, so you may have to install it. Now, once the CDR Tools package is installed, we use the make ISOFS command to create the ISO image and the file system that goes on the image from any files or directories you want backed up. Now, you have to be careful and use the correct extensions when you burn the CD. For example, you might want to use Joliet or Rockridge so that you can have Linux and Windows and BSD understand the file structure on there and be able to read the CD. Now, once you've did the make ISOFS command on it, you have to run either CD record or burn CD. We're going to use CD record for the purposes of our demonstration. CD record will then burn the ISO file that you created to the CD or DVD. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to burn CDs and DVDs with the CDR Tools package. Now, the first thing we want to do is see where we're at. We're in our FreeBSD virtual machine. Let's see what directory we're in. We're in root/personal, and let's do an ls-al on that. And we have some files in there, and we've in fact already created a tar file we may want to back up to CD. So let's go ahead and burn this file to CD, and this requires two steps. First, it requires running the make ISOFS command in order to get the ISO file built. So let's do that. We type in mk isofs-o, and there are plenty of options that go with this, by the way. We're going to call this bobby.iso, and we're going to add the Joliet and Rockridge extensions with this so that it can be read by any number of systems, Linux, Windows, Unix, and so forth. And we're going to use the allfiles.tar as our source. So let's go ahead and run that, and if we do an ls-al now, we have the ISO file in there. So the next step, of course, is to actually burn the CD. So let's go ahead and do that using CD record. And we're going to say CD record, and there's some options you have to look at with CD record. First, it has to support a CD-ROM burner on your system, and you have to know kind of which device you need to put in there. And you can do this using CD record-scan bus, and that will tell you what burnable CD devices there are on your system that you can use with CD record. And we're just going to type in bobby.iso on here. It's going to go ahead and burn, and we didn't put a lot of other options with it. Keep in mind there are a lot of options with both CD record and make ISOFS. And keep in mind you don't have to burn a single file. You can burn entire directories if you like. Now, this is going to take a little while to do what it's got to do. This is a small file, so it shouldn't take too long, but it's going to go ahead and burn the CD for us, and we'll get a little bit of status here as it starts to burn. And it's running track 1 now. We can hear it humming in the background a little bit as it burns the CD. For larger files, it can take a little bit longer time, and it looks like it's basically finished. When we get the prompt back, we'll know that it's been finished. And then you would simply have to eject the CD, put it in the computer of your choice, and it can be read. If you want to test it, you can also pop it out, pop it back in, mount the CD-ROM, and go ahead and check that out just to make sure it's a good burn. We're going to do that in just a moment. Once we have burned the CD, then we can actually delete the file if we like and get rid of the ISO file and the tar file if we want, now that we've got it backed up. So we've basically looked at how to burn CDs, how to use the CDR tools, the make ISOFS command, and the CD record command to back up files and burn them to a CD or DVD.